y'all, so today I'm going to be participating in Tuesday Talks for the first time in what feels like forever. Today's topic for Tuesday Talks is how to get out of reading slumps, and this is incredibly relevant to my life right now because I am currently in a reading slump and have been in one for quite a while. However, I am finally kind of starting to pull myself out of the reading slump, so I figured that it was the perfect time to participate in Tuesday Talks and talk about ways to get out of reading slumps. And links to all things Tuesday Talks related will be either down in the description or up in the cards. So I think the most important thing when dealing with reading slumps is determining the reason behind the slump. Are you just really busy and you haven't made time for reading? Is there something that you're placing in a higher priority than reading, or are you simply just not in the mood to read? If you're not in the mood to read, my honest advice is just to ride out the slump. If you're not in the mood to read, you really shouldn't be forcing yourself to read. Reading is a really fun activity to do in your free time, and if you're not in the mood to do it, don't make yourself do it. I feel like so many of us put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be reading constantly and to be keeping up with BookTube, but if you're not in the mood to read and you just really don't want to read, then don't read. However, if you are currently just not in the mood to read, but you do want to get back in the mood to read, I have some tips and tricks that could help you get back in the mood to read. And like I said, honestly, the first of those tips is just to ride out the slump. A lot of times, if you're not in the mood to read, it's because you're really excited about something else and you really want to be doing something else and you're just not making reading a priority. And honestly, that is 100% fine. I lately have been binge watching this show called The Genius that I discovered at the end of December, and I've completely fallen in love with it, and a lot of the time I would rather watch that than read, and that's fine. If you're sitting there and not doing the thing that you really want to do because you feel like you should be reading, you're not going to get anywhere, because not only are you not reading and not doing the thing that you feel like you should be doing, you're also not giving into what you really want to be doing, so you're just going to be constantly in this in-between stage of not doing what you should be doing and not be doing what you want to be doing. And again, I kind of put should be doing in quotation marks for reading because I feel like you shouldn't be forcing yourself to read if you don't necessarily want to. So yeah, my first advice is just ride out the slump. If there's something else that you'd rather be doing than reading, just do that thing. Don't procrastinate, just do that thing, and eventually you will find your way back to being in a reading mood. However, if you are just simply not in the mood to read and you want to get back into a reading mood very quickly, the biggest thing that I will suggest is to watch YouTube videos and to peruse Goodreads. A lot of times when I'm in a reading slump, it's because I'm simply not currently excited about reading. Maybe there's not a book that's currently piquing my interest, or maybe I read a book that I didn't really like and it made me not in the mood to read, but either way, I'm probably just not excited about reading. And the number one way to get yourself back excited about reading is to watch videos of people being excited about reading, or talking about exciting new books that are coming out, or watching book reviews, or just perusing Goodreads to see if anything catches your eye. And when I do this, a lot of the times I end up stumbling across some book that sounds really interesting to me, and it piques my interest, and it makes me kind of get excited about potentially reading it. Maybe it's a book that I do have to go out and buy, or I can get it from the library. It's probably not a book that I own, but it's something to get me back excited about reading. And that for me is the key factor to getting out of a slump, is to get excited about reading again. This next suggestion leans a little bit more toward people who make videos or who do book blogs, but my next suggestion is to do some sort of book tag. When you're someone who creates content on BookTube or on a book blog, it can sometimes be hard to come up with ideas for videos or for posts when you haven't been reading because you don't have any new books to talk about and you don't have any reviews to do. But book tags are always a really great way to get you back into the spirit of reading. Because when you're someone who creates content on BookTube or posts book blogs, it can be hard to figure out what to post or vlog about when you haven't been reading any new books. Because when you are in a reading slump and you're having trouble coming up with content, it's very easy to just stop making videos because you don't have any new books to talk about, but that makes you get even more out of the mindset of reading, and it makes you stop thinking about books and about reading, and that can just send you further into the reading slump. So sometimes just doing a book tag can help you think about books that you've already read and loved, and it can keep you in the reading mindset and keep your mind on books, and therefore possibly help you get out of the reading slump faster. My next suggestion is to read an addicting book, and that might sound really difficult given that you don't know how addictive a book is until you pick it up and read it for yourself, but there are some books that are notorious for being books that are really difficult to put down. So go on Goodreads, check out some recommendations, see what people suggest as really addicting books to read, and maybe try picking up one of those books, because when you pick up a book that is notoriously hard to put down, sometimes that can get you really excited about reading again, since you really want to keep reading the book to find out what happens. Last year near the end of April, I was in this pretty big reading slump and I just had no idea what I wanted to read, and everyone suggested books by Jennifer L. Armentrout as really addicting reads, so I picked up Don't Look Back by her, and I got completely engrossed in it, and it helped to re-spark my excitement about reading, and I ended up having a great few months of reading after that, mostly because I got so excited about reading Don't Look Back. And then my final piece of advice for getting yourself out of a reading slump is a pretty standard one, and that is to reread one of your favorite books. It's one of your favorite books for a reason. You fell in love with it for a reason, and if you want to get excited about reading again, that is one of the best ways to do so. Rereading a story that you've already fell in love with is a really great way to get excited about books. Stories that are familiar and comfortable are so much easier to get into than new stories, and it's already something that you're familiar with, so you don't have to learn a ton about a new world or a new set of characters. You can just kind of re-experience something that you've already loved, and that is a really great way to get excited about reading again. And in the end, if all else fails, like I said multiple times near the beginning of this video, just write out the reading slump. If you love reading and you're just really not in the mood for it right now, do whatever you're really in the mood for, and eventually you will get that spark to read again, and you will probably devour books more voraciously than you did the last time that you were in a reading mood. That is what happens with me every single time after a reading slump. I had this massive reading slump from like September of 2015 through like the end of 2015 and the beginning of 2016, and then in February 2016 I read like 12 books, and in March of 2016 I read somewhere around that same number. So after the reading slump, I just got so excited about reading again that I just devoured books. Just above anything else, remember that even if you're not in the mood to read right now, you will definitely be in the mood to read sometime again in the future, and it's not a bad thing that you're not in the mood to read right now. So yeah, honestly, sometimes reading slumps can be a really great thing and really help you to fall back in love with reading again the next time you pick up a book. So that is it for my suggestions to get out of a reading slump. Like I said, I am still currently in a reading slump, and I honestly need to take my own advice because I kind of do want to start reading again, even though I'm still obsessed with The Genius. And by the way, I think that this will go up before my Genius video, I don't know, but once my Genius video is live, check up in the cards for that, because I made a video where I just gushed about how perfect The Genius is and how it's like the best show that you have never heard of, and I love it so much, and I don't think it'll be up by the time that this video is, but it will be up soon afterward, and you should definitely check it out because everyone should watch The Genius. It's the best TV show ever. Also, on a related topic, on Friday I did a video talking about all the books that I'm currently in the mood to reread, given that I'm trying to pull myself out of a reading slump. So if you want to check that out, I will link that up in the cards as well. As always, I will leave links to all my social media down in the description, including my Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you on Goodreads. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.